showing off in Game 1, only to take a back seat to the men on the mound, as dueling aces stole the show. But it was the Rangers staff which proved dominant last night. In Game 2, a man heads to the mound who experienced that thrill of victory against his in-state rival, leading the charge in a late March win in Arlington. He hopes to duplicate that effort tonight at the Juice Box as the Silver Boot Series marches on. Well, we are set to go in the middle game of this three-game series in Houston. The Rangers and the Astros, the Silver Boot Series, and lately momentum with the Texas Rangers. Welcome inside tonight, everybody, here at Minute Maid Park. Roof closed tonight. I'm Dave Raymond with Mr. Baseball here, Tom Grieve. And we're talking about the way the Rangers have lately been on a surge in this series. It's interesting. We're a quarter of the way through the season, 40 games into the regular season. We played a fifth of the games against the Houston Astros. This season series is almost done.
Yeah, it's strange how they're bunched up together like this. And if you look at the series so far, the teams have played 8 games. They've split the 4 games. The 8 games really have been dominated by pitching. Both teams are hitting around 200. The Rangers are averaging less than 3 runs per game, but they've still won 4 times. For the Astros, Jose Altuve has really been the only hot hitter. Other than he, the rest of the team is only hitting 191. The Rangers have won the last 3 games, and they've been nail-biters. You go back to April 14th. It was Ronald Guzman tying the game late with a home run, then winning it in the 10th with an infield hit. The Rangers won that game 6-5. The next night, Robinson Chirinos drove in all 3 Ranger runs, 2 of them coming on this double in the 10th inning. That was a 3-1 Ranger win. Last night, Jurickson Profar on an 0-2 pitch lined the ball to left field with the bases loaded. That was a sacrifice fly that provided the Rangers the run in a 1-0 win.
And so it's 3 in a row now for the Rangers. Feeling pretty good about the way things have gone lately. And today they're going to give the ball to Doug Fister. Now, Doug Fister's first win of the season, the Rangers' first win of the season over the Astros, came way back in that first weekend of the season.
Yeah, it was the second game of the season. The Rangers won that game. In that game, Doug pitched 5 innings. He gave up 4 hits, only gave up 1 run. Doug is not a power pitcher. He's a finesse pitcher, throws a lot of 2-seam fastballs, a lot of sinkers. Big contrast between Doug Fister and tonight's starter for the Astros, Charlie Morton. Charlie is more of a power pitcher. His fastball averages out 96 or 97 miles an hour. He's been extremely tough on left-hand hitters. In addition to his fastball, he's got an excellent curveball. He's 4th in the league in ERA and opponent's batting average. And as an Astro, in 32 starts, he's 18-7 with a 3.30 ERA. He's been terrific for the Astros. He'll be tough for the Rangers tonight.
It's been a total rebirth for him here in Houston. Well, one of the factors in this series has certainly been the strength of the Rangers bullpen, in particular, very good against Houston. And we'll put him in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. know the Rangers are playing well when I'm handing out promotions. Mr. Baseball, Mr. Ranger. Hey, listen, Tom, I'm willing to amp everything up right now. It's been so much fun lately against these Houston Astros, the way the Rangers have played. Let's talk about our Shiner Bach spotlight. We're mentioning the strength of the Rangers bullpen, and they've been very good on the road this year. Second best ERA in the American League, 7 for 8 in saves. But boy, when you take it a step further here at Minute Maid Park, they have been nearly untouchable, including once again last night.
Yeah, the bullpen needed to be perfect last night because it was a very close game, a 1-0 game. Jake Diekman had a 1-2-3 7th inning with a strikeout. Jose Leclerc had a scoreless 8th with a strikeout. Keone Kela came on for the 9th inning. He had a strikeout on that inning, also got his 8th save of the season. For more on the bullpen, let's head down to Emily Jones.
Yeah, Tom, as you well know, it takes some time for a bullpen to settle into its various roles. And we knew there were a lot of moving parts with this bullpen in particular coming into this season. But now that we're a month plus in, Hector Ortiz, the bullpen coach, says they're starting to figure out those roles. And also, too, they're developing that chemistry that comes with being around each other, feeling each other out, knowing how each other is going to react to different situations. And he said that's just a matter of time for this bullpen. And it's something you're seeing the fruits of now that we are a good chunk of the way into the season. He said it was difficult to establish that early on because there were so many lopsided games that it didn't create that team atmosphere. It was more about an individual performance because those games were so lopsided. Now that they've been closer, it creates that rooting for each other, that leaning on each other that you strive for in a team. So the close games, and especially the successfully closed out close games here of late, have been huge as far as the development of this bullpen. Doug Fister goes tonight looking to save the bullpen, maybe a little less work as he goes deep into the ball game. Game 2 of this 3-game series is coming up next with Dave and Tom.
Skyline out there tonight. We won't be looking at it from inside this evening. The roof closed for the middle game of our 3-game series, getting started an hour earlier tonight. So maybe just a little too much. Let's take a look at the Southwest starting lineup for the Texas Rangers. And Delano DeShields leading it off again in center field. Shin-Soo Choo, the DH. Nomar Mazara in right. That's Beltre, Gallo, Profar at short in the middle of things. Odor at second base for the second night in a row. Chirinos catching, and Ronald Guzman, the first baseman, rounds it out. And there you see Charlie Morton. He has the ball tonight for the Houston Astros, making his 8th start of the year and off to a perfect 4-0 start. You see the sunlight coming in through the windows out in left field, illuminating Morton. And some shadows around home plate, but they're not the drastic kind that you see some parts of the country that can be a real problem for hitters. Delano to Shields, takes a strike, and we are underway tonight. One ball, one strike on Delano. So Rangers yesterday with the 1-0 win. You see Shields' numbers so far, and the .375 on base percentage, the real key for him. He fouls it back. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Delano's got a good batting average, almost 300. Had a game the other day where he walked 4 times. That's obviously a great day for your on base percentage. If he can continue to hit for a solid average, take his walks, get his on base percentage in the 35 to 37% range, with his speed, he'll be a hugely productive leadoff for that.
Former first-round pick by the Houston Astros. Shields was the 8th overall selection in 2008. And they immediately tried to turn him into a second baseman. And he's since returned to the outfield, a Rule 5 selection for the Rangers. They stole him away from Houston, and he has been an excellent addition since then. 2-2, and that is off the plate. It's a full count.
Charlie Morton is off to another solid season. He had a great season last year for the Astros. If you had to nitpick a little bit, he's walked a few too many guys, 17 and 41 innings. But other than that, he's been pretty dominant.
It's payoff pitch. There's a little number out in front of the plate. Shields with the good speed, but can't beat that one out. He's one away.
Take a look at the pitch arsenal from Charlie Morton. His fastball is mid-90s, 95 to 97. He throws it a lot, 60% of the time. His other pitch that's an excellent pitch for him is his curveball. He throws that a lot, 26% of the times. He'll mix in a cutter, mix in a split finger pitch, kind of like a changeup. But for the most part, he's fastball, curveball. The curveball really neutralizes left-hand hitters. Jeff Bannister's having a little conversation with Jansen Visconti, the home plate umpire. And now it breaks up and nothing comes of it.
Probably arguing that maybe that was a foul ball. That's a little dribbler by Delano. Maybe grasping for straws just a touch, but one would understand. Let's take a look.
Didn't hit him. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
One strike pitch. And Mchugh in a hole 0-2. Mchugh was 1 for 4 yesterday.
Big fastball at 97.
Morton's 0-2, and breaking ball in there for a strike. There's that big curveball that's been so good for him.
Take a look at the defense for the Houston Astros. George Springer is not in the lineup tonight. The outfield will be Marlon Gonzales. Derek Fisher gets the start in center. Josh Reddick is in right. Up the middle, it's Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve as usual. Alex Bregman is at third. Yuli Gurriel is at first, and behind the plate, the veteran, Brian McCann.
Well, 2 away, and the base is empty for Nomar Mazara. 2 for 4 last night with a double and a run scored. And he shoots this one foul for strike 1. You look at that line from last night. I mean, that's a great line. 2 for 4, double run scored. And you think, oh, well, That's a pretty good game. Might have been a decent offensive game. There was no offense in that game last night. You're looking at just about all of it at the plate right now. Up and away, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Houston had one hit in the game, and that was a little dribbler by Evan Gattis between second and third. Just a little ground ball. That was it. They only had 2 or 3 balls that were hit hard. Josh Reddick hit a line shot to first. A couple balls to center field were hit solidly, but nothing special.
There's that backdoor curveball again from Morton. Well, Mazar has been the hot bat. No question about that. You see what he has done so far this month. 7 home runs. That's most in the American League. 12 RBIs, and the average up over 340. So a terrific little run at the moment. 1-2. And we'll do it again.
The first inning of this game, we've seen Charlie Morton's fastball be either 97 and 98 miles an hour. So he's got elite velocity for sure. Top 5 for starting pitchers in the American League. And you combine that with that curveball, you can see why he's off to such a good start. 4th best ERA in the league.
It's 1-2. There's that breaking ball again. Swung on and missed. Mazar, the second strikeout victim of the night. And that's a perfect 1-2-3 for Charlie Morton. And now Doug Fister ready to get out there and go to work himself. The Astros stepping in at 24-16 overall. Taking a look at their lineup. Jose Altuve leading it off at second. Alex Bregman at third. It's Carlos Correa, Yuli Gurriel, and Brian McCann catching. Then Marlon Gonzales, Josh Reddick, Evan Gattis, and the center fielder Derek Fisher. All that against Doug Fister. 1 win, 3 losses. The 34-year-old pitching to an ERA of 4.02. And this will be his 7th start of the year. And he starts Altuve low with ball 1.
As we talked about in the open, there'd be a big contrast between these right-handers. Doug is more of a finesse pitcher, tries to move his 2-seam sinking fastball around. Mixes in his off-speed pitches to go along with it. Not a big strikeout guy. But when he's hitting his spots like that on the outside corner, he can be successful and very tough to hit. One thing that's been unusual for Doug is right-hand hitters this year have hit 400 against him. Left-hand hitters only 182.
2-1 pitch. And that one fouled away. And it brings up at 2-2. So Altuve leading it off for the Astros. George Springer, the typical leadoff man for these guys. Yesterday was hit on the elbow, the left elbow, and taken out of the game after the 3rd inning yesterday. Still listed as day-to-day this afternoon with that left elbow contusion. Another little roller foul.
Yeah, with Springer not playing today, Altuve is leading off. First time this year that Altuve has led off. Here's George. Hit by a pitch last night. Tried to stay in the game, but came out of it last night, not able to play today.
It's a big difference for this team, at least has been in recent years. The difference between when they have Springer in the leadoff and when they don't. As a 2-2, just a little low. Pfister likes to work quickly. And his payoff, that's a beauty. Strike 3 called, and Altuve down looking to start the game.
Well, that's something you don't say very often. Altuve down looking. He doesn't strike out very much to begin with, but very seldom will he take a fastball right down the middle for strike 3. But he did in that at bat. So a good start for Doug Pfister. He was going toward first, but he knew it was a strike.
Brings up Alex Brakeman, 0 for 2 last night, and he takes a fastball for a strike. There's not a lot of history between Doug Pfister and most of these Astros hitters. Brakeman fouls that one off. 0-2. But Brakeman 3 for 5 against Pfister. Including a home run. So we'll see. Those are pretty decent numbers. Little tapper. And this one handled cleanly by Beltre, and Brakeman retired 2 away.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Doug Pfister. Talked about his 2-seam sinking fastball. Throws that a lot. 60% of the time. It's somewhere between 87 and 88 miles an hour. Likes to throw a cutter, a curveball, and a split finger that he uses for a changeup. A good assortment of pitches, but in Doug's best games, it's pretty much his 2-seam fastball that leads the way. Gets a lot of ground balls with it, and when he's spotting it where he wants to, that's when he's tough.
But now Correa, and he just misses keeping that one fair. 292 average, 5 homers for Correa. Boy, just in his 400th career game. Talk about one of the young superstars of our game. He takes a strike at the count 0-2. Correa, I saw a note the other day about Correa. I believe he's the only shortstop in history. His first 3 seasons, he's hit 20+ home runs in all 3. Little roller, left side of the infield. Beltre cuts it off. Sidearm throw to first in time, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first for Doug Pfister. Part of the order coming for the Rangers. Beltre, Gallo, and Profar coming up.
So that this whole series it's a little bit old. In fact, one of my sons, who I think he's 41 or 42, wore it for Halloween when he was probably 8 or 10. So that's how old it is. He's worn it once. I haven't worn it yet.
Little variation on the theme right there. Beltre.
I just feel like I don't deserve to wear a cowboy hat. You know, I'm from Massachusetts. I'm a New Englander. I wasn't born in Texas. I don't feel like I have the right to wear a cowboy. I know that's stupid that you can move here and wear a cowboy hat. I just feel like I'm cheating if I wear a cowboy hat. I feel like a Texan, but I'm really not.
There's that curveball again from Morton.
Definitely don't sound like one.
Well, listen.
I'd be interested what a real Texan thinks about someone else that's not a Texan wearing a cowboy hat, if it's any big deal.
Some probably don't love it. Some probably okay with it.
The last thing I would want is someone to say, look at that Yankee trying to look like a cowboy.
Beltre strikes out swinging, and that is 3 in a row for Charlie Morton.
Well, we're seeing Charlie Morton with some pretty good stuff early in this game. His fastball 96 miles an hour with tailing action on it. Curveball that he struck Nomar out on was a curveball that Babe Ruth, George Brett, and Ted Williams couldn't hit. That's what his stuff has been like so far.
That curve is brutal, and it has really been tough on left-handed hitters like Joey Gallo. And Gallo takes ball 1. Well, once again, we see the shift. How about Brakeman playing up on the edge of the grass here against Gallo? It's always something different.
Yeah, it's something different. At least, you know, if you're Joey Gallo, it says, well, it's going to be a little bit too tough to try a bunt right here. If he was way back where he normally, and there he goes back. He just wants to show that. Now it's not quite as difficult to bunt.
Now you see the Astros use this shift against left-handed hitters almost 62% of the time, easily most in baseball. 2-0. There's the curveball.
That, if you're the hitter and you see where that starts out, it just doesn't register in your mind that that ball could possibly curve back far enough to be a strike. And it does, but it doesn't really come into the hitting zone. It just drops on the outside corner so many times. In fact, his curveball against left-handed hitters is hit at a 111 average. Left-hand hitters last year hit 175. This year they're hitting 119 against Morton. Before that, before 2017, before he was an Astro, left-handers used to hit 307 against him.
They basically reinvented him here as a swing and a miss by Gallo. Here's strike 3, and that is 4 straight strikeouts for Charlie Morton.
Well, you see the scouting report, you read the notes on him, and it will say the curveball is the main reason why he dominates left-handed hitters, and we've seen it. 5 batters into the game, it's pretty apparent.
Look at that. 38% strikeout percentage against lefties. Pretty impressive. Now he gets Profar, switch hitter, batting at that left side, and he takes ball 1. I'll tell you what, it's a different curveball against left-handers than it is against righties. And you almost wonder as a switch hitter if you'd be better off hitting right-handed against Morton.
The only way I could answer that is generally it's easier to hit a ball that's curving in toward you. But based on what the numbers say, you can't do any worse.
It's a sweeping curveball against right-handed hitters. Really moves laterally, whereas to left-handed hitters, he seems to snap it more 12-6. That ball had a little lateral movement to it, and it's bounced quickly down to Gurriel at first to end the inning. So 1-2-3 once again. We played an inning and a half. No score tonight. tonight. Just underway, though, bottom of the second inning, and Yulieski Gurriel will start things off for Houston. Pfister just a little off the plate with ball one. It'll be Gurriel, Brian McCann, and Marlon Gonzales. Bouncer up the middle, slow enough roller though. Profar gets to it. What a throw to first! And he got Gurriel by an eyelash.
You know, there's a glimpse of what Jurickson's capable of doing. I don't think we've seen that kind of a play yet, but that's what he's got going for him once he gets the hang of and getting used to playing shortstop. Great range, a 360, and there you saw the arm strength and the accuracy. It all came into play. Everything you need to be able to do to make a spectacular play, Jurickson did it on that play. I've seen some plays where the throw has sailed a little bit. Maybe he's bobbled it as he's kind of getting used to playing shortstop on an everyday basis. But the longer he's out there on a regular basis like this, the better it seems he's getting.
Well, he's got the smile to go with it. We miss Elvis, but Profar has done a really good job. This ball belted down the right field line. Steep, right two.
We saw a few of those in last night's game. Right down the line. In fact, Dan might have hit one himself last night.
A couple of hard stoppers last night because there was no room in yesterday's game. The 0-2.
Well, most of the times when an infielder makes a routine play, you don't really see his arm strength because he finds the way to throw it over there accurately. But on a play like that, that's when you find out the kind of arm strength that an infielder has. Jurickson knew he had to throw that ball as hard as he can. Whatever velocity he has, that was it right there. There's no more. And he needed every bit of it to nip Gurriel at first base.
Popped up left side of the infield, and this one will be controlled by Beltre, and there are two gone.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's Gallo, DeShields, and Mazzara in the outfield. In the infield, Adrian at third base, Ronald Guzman at first base, Jurickson Profar, Rougned Odor up the middle, and Robinson Chirinos will be behind the plate.
So two away. And the first pitch in there for a strike to Marlon Gonzales, switch hitter. Trying to get that left side. Oh, bunted, and that is a fair ball. And Chirinos will tag Gonzales, and Gonzales doesn't like it.
But I don't know what he's arguing about.
I think it's, I wish I didn't bunt that. I really wish I missed it.
Let's see what the third base umpire is coming in, so maybe Gonzales has an argument. Let's see what happened.
Remember earlier this year, Gonzales was ejected from a game that was up in Arlington. He bunted it. And I don't know, we didn't get a look on that one, but if it was in fair territory and grabbed by Chirinos, it's a fair ball.
The only thing I can think is when Robinson fielded the ball, it wasn't fair. That can be. It doesn't matter where the ball hits the ground. The ball can hit the ground behind home plate. It must have been in foul territory when Robinson gathered the ball.
Yep, I think that's his argument, and it looks like he's going to win that argument. Yep, because it looked like it hit in fair territory, but as it was spinning and bouncing off of that initial contact, it was headed back into foul ground, and that's where Robbie grabbed it. So that's a good eye on Gonzalez's part. You'd think he'd be looking down at first, running.
Generally, the guy's running to first. He knew he didn't hit it very hard. He was looking back and saw the ball. And where he was, well, I was going to say where he was, it didn't matter, but it certainly doesn't matter now after that pitch.
So a strikeout into the 10-pitch inning for Doug Pfister. He also got himself a little help defensively. How about this play from Jurickson Profar? It's enough to make you smile ear to ear. Picking up where we left off last night, where the offenses were nearly non-existent. Bottom of the order here in the third inning for the Rangers in a scoreless game. Charlie Morton has looked very sharp early on. That pitch right there, the curveball, has been death to lefties. And he drops it in for a strike to Rougned Odor. It'll be Odor, Chirinos, and Guzman here in the third. There's a fastball, and that one at good velocity, 96, but nowhere near the zone. And he's leaned pretty heavily on the curveball early on. There's 1-1. It's too tight. So Odor's second game back from the disabled list. 0 for 3 yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. Remember when Delino came back off the DL, his first game back, went 0 for 4, and then he went on a tear. No doubt Odor would hope to follow in those footsteps beginning tonight. It's 2-2. Had 5 games on rehab at AA Frisco and AAA Round Rock. Morton's 2-2. That's a fastball, a little bit high, and McCann.
Well, he's apologizing now.
Yeah, and by the way, that umpire right there, that is Jansen Visconti. And we saw Jansen make his big league debut behind the plate back at home.
And McCann was sure that was a strike, and he's throwing it around the horn.
A little close to be doing all that.
Yeah, then he found out it wasn't a strike, and he had to apologize. Didn't have to. He chose to apologize to the umpire.
They get the strikeout anyway, and 1 away. Well, our Kubota Power stats today. Charlie Morton, he gets all the ground balls in the world, has that great curveball, but his velocity with the fastball, how about that, 96 miles per hour, average fastball velocity, and there aren't many in baseball who consistently throw harder than he does.
It's just amazing. I can't think of anybody who, at age 33, transformed himself from a whatever low 90s pitcher who featured a sinker ball to a 96, 97 mile an hour power pitcher. It just doesn't seem like that happens very often once you get into your 30s, or if at any time in your career. Pretty amazing. Probably wishes he unlocked that 97 mile an hour fastball 10 years ago.
Here's what's nuts. He had been on the disabled list 9 times in his big league career.
Oh, maybe I never had a chance to develop it then.
He's been on the disabled list since the Astros have gotten him as well. He's on and off the DL all the time. And I think it goes more to your point, which is, yeah, you keep getting banged up. You keep getting, little pieces cut off, whatever is going on. How in the world do you go from the low 90s to one of the hardest throwing pitchers in the game at his advanced age? It's really, really unique as Chirinos flies out, but at least the ball was in play. There are 2 gone. That, by the way, that ball was in the air, which is also somewhat unique because this guy does not allow many fly balls as a general rule. When he's not striking dudes out, he's usually getting ground ball outs.
Well, the Astros dominate the pitching statistics. They have the best team ERA in baseball by a mile, best starters ERA by a mile. Bullpen ERA is second best. And when you look at things like opponents' batting average, ERA leaders.
This ball hit well and carrying all the way over the fence. That was a blast by Guzman. His 3rd home run of the year. 2 of them have been in this yard. And he gives the Rangers the 1-0 lead.
That's the first ball we've seen Ronald hit like that. And he went up there and put a swing on a 96 mile an hour fastball that we haven't seen yet this year. Fastball's right down the middle of the plate, and he is ready for it. and put his best swing on it, made his best contact, and shot it halfway up in the seats in right field. That was a bullet. I think that was a little bit of a surprise for Charlie Morton, too.
Wow, that thing was a rocket. Now a bouncer over third. And DeShields is on. He's pedaling for two, and he is in there with a two-out double.
That was a nice play by Marlon Gonzales to get to it and throw it accurately. And there aren't many hitters who would have gotten a double on that ball. Took every bit of Delano's speed right out of the box, and a good slide to beat that throw from Marlon Gonzales. Nice accurate throw right on the bag. Nice quick tag, but Delano beat it anyway.
It is hard in this ballpark with that very tiny left field to find many extra base hits out there, but DeShields just did it. Now Mchugh. And he swings and misses at strike one. Mchugh struck out in the first. Well, the out-of-town scoreboard looming out there is the facing of those Crawford box seats. Not a lot of real estate. Mchugh takes outside, 1-1. I mentioned he had a hit yesterday. Mchugh has hit in 3 straight, and he continues to find his way on one way or the other. Has reached base safely in 9 of the last 10 games. Swings and misses here, and it's 1-2.
Well, that's the kind of curveball, especially the way it affects left-hand hitters. And you can look for that as a left-hand hitter and still have a hard time hitting it, even if you know it's coming.
Morton with 5 strikeouts, first time through the order. Long pause. Now the 1-2. Ronald Guzman, yeah, big smile there. He likes it in this ballpark.
He's got
what we have seen.
He has to feel good after that one. I'm not sure how many balls he's ever hit like that. He hasn't come close to seeing all of his at-bats. We don't watch him in the minor leagues, but at least what we've seen here, we have not seen one like that.
Mchugh takes a called third strike, but the Rangers have the early lead. The Condor takes flight in the 3rd inning, his 3rd home run of the year, and the Rangers on the board first. Rangers lead now. Bottom third of the order here. Josh Reddick, Evan Gattis, and Derek Fisher. Fister has been efficient. Leaves that one a little high. It's 2-0. 3 groundouts so far, 2 strikeouts, and an infield pop-up. Three 3-0. See the numbers for Reddick. Really good defensively and has the power. But the average a little low so far this year. He's not the only one. Pretty much all the averages very low so far this year around Major League Baseball. Fister really working quickly, and it's a full count. Now Doug Fister, 34 years old. It's his 7th start of the year. Pitching on extended 5 days rest tonight. Saw yesterday Cole Hamels pitching on extra rest for the first time this year, and man, he looked really sharp. 3-2. This ball lifted out to right field, carrying well. Mazzara back, looks up, and that one is off the fence. Reddick will stop at second with a leadoff double. Off the bat, though, that one looked like it could have been a little bit more trouble.
Yeah, Reddick hit the ball well. Didn't get all of it, though. Hit it enough toward the end of the bat that it stayed in the ballpark. Came pretty close, though. Looked like it was off the wall somewhere near the 373 sign. Halfway up the wall, right in front of the Astros bullpen.
So for the first time tonight, works from the stretch. And the next pitch bounced up the middle. That's a base hit. Reddick got a good start. He'll score without a throw. Gattis drives in the tying run with that single to center.
Gattis had the only hit in last night's game. Last night he came into the game 3 for 41 at home. And with a 1 for 3 last night and a base hit there, he's now 2 for his last 4. He's struggling at home, but maybe starting to get it together at home.
So Gattis at first, and now Derek Fisher. Speedy center fielder, 9th place hitter. See the numbers for Fisher, not real good. He has struck out a lot as well. 3 walks to 30 strikeouts. And he takes on the inside corner. It's 1-1. Yesterday came in as a pinch hitter, stayed in the game in center field. Two and 1 the count. Lately we've dabbled in some of the StatCast numbers, and we look at the fastest runners in the game. Delano DeShields right there, usually at the top of that list. One of the guys who oftentimes you just don't think of who's going to be on that list and challenging for that top spot is the man at the plate, Derek Fisher. Shows up quite a bit on those speed metrics. You think of the D. Gordons and Delano DeShields and some of the other real slick speedsters. Runner goes from first, to swing and a miss, strike 3. They throw down to second, and that one bounces. So Gattis is in there with a stolen base. A surprise by Gattis, his first of the year. And it was not strike 3, by the way, strike 2.
Gattis gets a good jump. Throws a little bit offline. You don't expect Gaddis to steal a base. The other interesting stat on Gaddis has hit 12 triples in his major league career, and 11 of them came in 2015.
That's just his third big league stolen base, and now a swing and a miss. So Fisher strikes out. One away, and back to the top of the order here. First, though, a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. I get the feeling we're going to be talking about those two being neck and neck all summer.
Sure seems like it.
Jose Altuve struck out looking in the first inning. Yesterday, Altuve 0 for 4. And it snapped a stretch of 16 consecutive games against the Rangers in which he had reached base. One of those rare nights where the Rangers were able to keep him off the bases. When they do that, of course, it would drastically improve their odds of winning the game, which they did. Rangers won 1-0 last night. One strike pitch, and this one fouled straight back. You showed the stat in the open, Tom, that series has been even. We look at what the Astros have done offensively against the Rangers this year. Altuve hitting .400 and has scored 6 of their runs. The rest of this team has batted .191 against the Rangers. He scored 25 runs, so Altuve responsible for a lot of their offense in this series this season. Springer out of the lineup today, clearly one of the main guys you would focus on tonight. Mister a little bit in. 2-2. Altuve still leading Major League Baseball with 52 hits so far this year. And he swings and misses strike 3. So another strikeout for Fister, his 4th of the night.
Yeah, this is about as bad as you'll see Altuve looking at this. First time up, he took a fastball right down the middle for strike 3. And that time, Doug entices him to swing at a curveball that's about a foot outside. So a little bit of a struggle early in the game for last year's MVP.
So now with 2 outs, Fister will focus on Alex Brakeman. Brakeman grounded out to third his first time in. Yesterday, 0 for 2 in the ball game. His 8-game hitting streak snapped. And here 2-0. By far, this has been the busiest inning for Doug Fister. Still early in the ball game, but he was awfully quick in those first 2 frames. Finds his own that time, and it's 2-1. He's closing in on as many pitches in this third as he has thrown in the first 2 innings. Bouncer off of Fister's glove. Odordo is there to get it on the carom. He throw to first in time. They get Bregman a 1-for-3 put out, and the inning is done. We head to the 4th inning, tied at 1. 1-1 score. As we move it along to the 4th inning tonight. Good pitching so far. A little bit more offense than we saw yesterday. Nomar Mazara to start things off here in the 4th inning for the Rangers. And Martin's first pitch. There's that backdoor curveball again for a strike. Our TXU Energy Power player to watch, Nomar Mazara. Boy, the at-bats per home run ratio this year, when he's hitting them almost twice as frequently. Not quite, but close. Been a big year power-wise for Mazara, at least to this point. Rangers with 2 hitters already in double digits with home runs. Mazara with 10, Gallo with 12. Maz struck out in the first. He's 0 for 1. A little bit low. 2-1. Mazara, we showed you earlier that the month of May has been a huge one for him. Maybe as big as anybody right now in the American League. And he hits this one off the fist, but right out there behind second base is Correa, and there is one away. So 1-0 win yesterday. That was a great start to this road trip. Also some really good news yesterday as well, as we checked with Emily Jones. Yeah, even better news as far as Tony Beasley is concerned, and the rest of the Rangers organization for that matter, as he came down on the off day to check in at MD Anderson, have his 6-month scans after, of course, defeating colorectal cancer a couple of years ago. And the best news is that all those scans came back clear. Tony is as strong as ever, and we are all thankful for that. No doubt. He has really been a great story these last couple of years. Optimism and positivity personified right there in Tony Beasley. Adrian Beltre turns away, and that one a little bit in. 2-0. Bouncer left side. Brakeman has time. 2 gone. Well, Red Raiders fans, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Rangers game this summer. Get discounted tickets for the May 22nd game against the Yankees. It's a free Rangers cap and Raider red and black for you as well. The first 2,000 fans with the event ticket will get one of the ball caps, so come on out. TexasRangers.com/TTU for details. Very popular nights at a Globe Life in the summer. Now Joey Gallo, and Morton runs one way in on him.
As a hitter, when you make up your mind you're going to bunt, you hope you get a great pitch to bunt so you can lay it down and get yourself a base hit. Now it's the same situation. No one has moved in the infield. You can do it again, but a lot of times hitters, after they've shown it once, are a little reluctant to try it again. Really, there's not much difference. Even if they know you're going to bunt right here, it doesn't make any difference. If you bunt it by the pitcher, it's a base hit. With Bregman playing on the other side of second base. If you've got guys playing in at third base and you fake it, you know, he's going to maybe move in another couple steps and take it away from you. But in this situation, a fake bunt, not a fake bunt, but show bunt, take a pitch. Nothing changes on the next pitch. Fielders have stayed right where they were.
If he gets it by the pitcher on that left side, when you say base hit, I mean, it's a double.
Yeah, it pretty much is a double. If he can bunt it to the outfield grass. Roll it into foul territory, roll it down the left field line. A little more than a bunt.
Nobody home. Look at that. I mean, there's nobody in the picture. Some umpires and Charlie Morton. There's a big swing and a miss, and it's a full count now on Gallo. 2 out here, nobody on. top of the fourth, tied at 1.
I think we said before the game when we looked at the pitch arsenal from Charlie Morton that he threw his curveball 26% of the time. He's thrown 54 pitches. It sure feels like he's thrown it more than that, but it's probably somewhere between 26 and 30%. A lot of curveballs. There's another one.
Yep, and that one catches a corner, and Gallen knew it. Not happy with it, just not happy overall. And it's a strikeout looking to end the top of the fourth inning. We are still tied at 1. Rangers and Astros, always fun when these two get together. Doug Fister has pitched well so far, double in a single last inning. Allowed the first Astros run of this series. And other than that, he's not allowed a base runner. 4 strikeouts so far tonight for him as well. It's the heart of the order here. Carlos Correa, and that one got him. Not what he wanted to do.
Well, just like in last night's ball game when Cole Hamels hit George Springer. It was a pitch. He was trying to throw his cutter inside. He was trying to pitch Springer inside. One got away from him. And the same with Doug. The last thing he wants to do in a 1-1 ball game is put the leadoff hitter on base with middle of the lineup guys coming up. Here's the one from Cole last night. You can see the catcher setting up inside. Oh, that's not quite the one. There's 2 of them. First one hit the batter in the foot. That one right off the elbow.
So now Gurriel, and he'll roll one to short. Good feed to second. Odor on to first. Double play. 6-4-3. And just like that, Correa erased from the bases. All right, so a hit batter as the Rangers continue to pitch inside aggressively. For a little more on that, let's check in again with Emily.
Yeah, and Doug Roquel very blunt about it, saying, look, if we don't pitch inside, we're going to get crushed by this lineup. It's something that we have to do. We have to establish the inside of the plate in order to establish the outside of the plate. He said that's where the real estate is. And so if we are going to survive against this lineup, we have to pitch aggressively, and we have to do it inside.
Well, when you do that, sometimes some get a little too far inside and you end up hitting batters. It really helps when the next pitch is a double play.
Oh, boy. 2-0. That one looked good. It's a strike. 2-1 to McCann, who is 0 for 1. Popped up in the second inning. Lifts this one high in the air out to right center field. Question is, how high is it? Well, it's high enough to carry over that wall. Home run for McCann, his 3rd of the year. And so for the first time in this series, it's the Astros with the lead, 2-1.
McCann now has hit 253 home runs. He's in the top 10 all time for catchers' home runs. And that was not a terrible pitch that he hit. You can see he had to reach for it. But he's a strong guy. Got this one up in the air and launched it into the Astros bullpen. 7-time All-Star, 6-time Silver Slugger. He's been a good, solid player for a long time. 10 times he's hit 20 home runs or more.
So that gives the Astros the lead, and now Marlon Gonzales, he struck out in the second. Somewhat frustrating at bat for him. 1-1 the count for McCann. That was his first home run since April 17th. Big one for him. 2-1 now on Gonzales. Well, Marlon Gonzales, another guy, I guess you're conditioned to be worried about if you're a Rangers fan, because he has done so much damage recently against the Rangers. However, he has struggled quite a bit in his career against Doug Fister. 0 for 11 in his career against Fister. Full count. We talk a lot about how guys start in very different positions as hitters. Gonzales, man, his hands are so low and in on his body. Every time I see it, I don't know how he can operate from there, but he gets in a good hitter's position, obviously. Fights that one off, and it stays full. Does your stance fluctuate quite a bit over the course of your career?
I think most hitters' batting stances fluctuate in their mind. To the average fan watching, I don't think you see a big difference. But there's times where maybe you close your stance, open your stance, move your hands around a little bit, tinker with your stride, leg kick, all that kind of thing. I think to the average eye, it doesn't really show up. There's the communication. Yeah. Center fielder called for it, made the catch.
And much better that time for Delino. Well, a home run by McCann. It's giving the Astros their first lead. For you, the next Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Night will be Wednesday, May 23rd. Yankees in town. You can come on out to Globe Life Park, get those ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers for your tickets. The way here in the fifth, Jerks and Profar, and Rougned Odor and Robinson Chirinos. Charlie Morton working with a lead for the first time tonight. It's 2-0. Kofar continues to turn in good at bat after good at bat. Now the numbers still not really reflecting all that well how he's been swinging it. 2-1 to count. I don't know at what point that begins to wear on a guy a little bit, but man, he seems awfully upbeat, and everybody very happy with the way he's been competing up there. Just that average just doesn't seem to budge for him. 2-1. And he takes a strike. 2-2. So here you go, Tom. This is a pretty good indication of the kind of at bat we're talking about. 8 or more pitches in an at bat. He has 13 of them, most in baseball.
I remember commenting on that same graphic about a week ago when it was maybe 8 of them, and they just keep piling up. So I think that's a good stat, but the bottom line is what the numbers tell you.
All right, rolls this one through into center field. That's a base hit. A good start to the 5th inning. It gives us a moment now for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock, only at southwestkia.com.
All right, now Rugi struck out in the 3rd, 0 for 1.
The good thing for Jurickson is that he knows he's going to be in the lineup, and he's going to continue to be in the lineup. Elvis is a ways away before he can come back. So what you hope for is the good at bats, seeing the ball, seeing pitches, getting good swings at good pitches. Eventually, what starts to come into play is it results in base hits and a higher batting average. Because ultimately at the big league level, that's what you get measured on, what your production is. Right now for Jurickson, he's getting a great opportunity to play. Talked about that beautiful play he made earlier in the game. Might have been a little erratic when he first started playing, but it's been 5 or 6 years since he's played shortstop regularly like he is right now, and just stands to reason he's not going to step right in there in day one and be the kind of shortstop that you hoped he would become at the big league level had he been a shortstop this whole time. It just doesn't happen that way. So the progress is there. And you saw that great play. Progress was there last night. He's behind in the count. He swings and misses at 2 changeups. 0-2. Tried to sneak Davinsky tried to sneak a fastball by him, and he lined it into left field for a game-winning sacrifice fly. So that was very positive in last night's game. We just hope that the positives keep adding up, and then eventually they add up into more base hits.
A 1-2 the count on Odor. Again, just his 2nd game back off the disabled list. Brakeman backs up at 3rd base and over to a more traditional shortstop position. It doesn't really matter. Odor strikes out swinging, 1 away. MLB At Bat is your #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment of the season. You get Rangers home screen icons as well as features like MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, well, and a lot more than that. Just download MLB At Bat today. So here's Robinson Chirinos. I'll be flied out to right field his first time up. Hits this ball down the left field line, but foul. Got off a good swing on that one. We'll need a new bat. One cracked on him, it sounded like, so Chirinos with a new stick now. All for 3 yesterday with 3 strikeouts. Back into the lineup yesterday. It was his first game since Monday. 1 strike pitch. It's 0-2. Now when he has made contact lately, He has done it for some distance. 11 of his last 14 hits against righties for extra bases. Double right here might just score Jurickson Profar and tie this game again. And he comes up empty. Strikeout for Morton. It's 9 now for him.
You can see the variation in his fastball. It's been as high as 98. Curveball, the lowest has been around 78. A 20-mile-per-hour difference between the highest speed and the lowest speed. Back on the 14th of April, he pitched against the Rangers. He had a no decision in that game. But in 6 innings, he walked 1 and struck out 12. So strikeouts against the Rangers for Morton. He's already been there 1 game and is on his way. Might have a hard time getting to 12 in 6 innings. But it's going to be another 6 innings and a lot of strikeouts for Morton.
Well, that was a career high for him. Tied a career high.
Probably not going to give Ronald Guzman that same fastball they gave him last time up. Ronald lined it into the seats in right field. Probably going to have to hit a curveball.
This is his 3rd home run of the year. The 0-2. And he swings and misses, so another strikeout. 10 for Charlie Morton through 5 innings. Rangers leave a man. Halfway there tonight, Astros lead by 1. Moments. Rangers fans, this bud's for you. About 2-1, and Josh Reddick takes ball 1 from Pfister to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom 3rd of the order for the Astros: Reddick, Evan Gattis, and Derek Fisher. A little bit wide, 2-0. Reddick had the double back in the 3rd inning. Scored on the next at bat when Gattis drove him home with a single. And here the count now 2-1. Does have some power. You have to be respectful of that. And he shoots this one foul out of play.
Reddick had a year where he hit 32 home runs. That was quite a while ago, 2012. He had 20 for Oakland in 2015. Last year he had 13 for the Astros. And he's just a good, solid, all-around player. Runs pretty good, plays an excellent right field.
And he's the first out here in the 5th inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's say hello again to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Boy, first pitch swinging, and this ball is blasted. That is a home run. Gaddis had a good swing in the 3rd, and he teed off on that one. Just kept it fair. His 2nd home run of the year. Houston leads 3-1.
I mentioned it last time up when Gaddis had the RBI single coming into this series against the Rangers. He had been 3 for 41 at home. And since that time, he's 3 for 5. So 3 for 41 before this series and 3 for 5 in this series, including the only hit in last night's game, a little ground ball, and a base hit and an RBI, and now a home run here in the 5th.
Well, the very next pitch, Fisher rolls one to second base. And there are 2 gone. I'll turn the lineup over again to Altuve, and we invite you to head on out to the ballpark. Memorial Day weekend, Rangers and Royals in that weekend series. First 15,000 fans to the game on Sunday, May 27th. Receive a Rangers cap courtesy of Carter Blood Care. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Altuve, who had good career numbers against Fister coming in. 0 for 2 so far today with a couple of strikeouts. Takes a strike here, 1-1. So single runs in the 3rd, 4th, and now 5th innings for Houston. Just a little bit low. 2-1. Broken bat roller, 3rd base, Beltre with time. And that will take care of the Astros in the 5th inning. Gaddis, though, with a homer, has given them the 3-1 lead. But Delano DeShields, leadoff man extraordinaire, will lead things off when we come back. And he has done such a great job since coming back off the disabled list as a leadoff man. You look at his numbers: 15 runs, 23 hits, only 3 guys with 15 and 20 so far. We just heard about Francisco Lindor from Dana. George Springer on the other side sitting on the bench. And DeShields today with a double, 1 for 2. Pops this one up and will end up in the seats. Average continues to climb for Delino. Came in at 295. Getting on base at nearly a 400 clip. Check swing didn't go. 1-1.
Rare changeup right there. Charlie Morton, actually a splitter, works as a changeup. That's just the grip that he uses with it. About 8 miles an hour less than this fastball. And just for the heck of it, there's 2 in a row.
Well, this is the 3rd time through the order now, so you're feeling like he's got to come up with something new. Although, I'll tell you what, first 2 times through, he's looked pretty good.
I don't think I'd change anything.
10 strikeouts already. Gets that one in there for a strike. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Delino.
Got a pretty solid pitch count. This will be his 75th pitch coming up.
But play Delino straight up, which is saying something with this Houston club. They use the shift as aggressively as anybody in baseball. But they respect Delino's ability to use all fields. There's A.J. Hinch, their 4th-year manager. 3-2. And a chopper, third base. This time Brakeman deep enough to grab it and just does get the shields.
Oh, it worked last time. Delino tried it again. Last time he bounced it right over Bregman's head. Bregman was a top 3 draft choice a few years back as a shortstop out of LSU. Got to the Astros. Carlos Correa is going to play shortstop, so he moved over to 3rd. So he gives you shortstop's talent at 3rd base.
Now Mchugh has struck out a couple of times tonight. He has not enjoyed his confrontations with Charlie Morton so far. Morton, 34 years old, and one of the truly great reinventions of a pitcher in recent years. The way his velocity has gone from low 90s. Literally a couple years ago, he was right at about 90 miles per hour with his sinker, which he used a lot, and to a decent amount of ground ball success. I mean, he's always been a great ground ball pitcher. But since becoming an Astro, has amped up the velocity to the upper 90s. We've seen him at 98 tonight. And has used that curveball extremely well.
That's a strike. It's not going to be hit very often.
Mchugh holds off. 2-2.
Well, the Astros have a dominating starting rotation for sure. Verlander, Cole, Morton. They're in the top 6 or 7 in almost every pitching category. Then their 4th and 5th guy, Lance McCullers, Dallas Keuchel, be the top of most other rotations.
Called strike 3, and Mchugh looks really frustrated as he heads back to the dugout, 2 away.
It sounds like a broken record, but it's just happening over and over again. The Rangers are seeing one of the better curveballs you'll see. And he's pumping them in on the outside corner, the inside corner, keeping them down. They're taking them for strikes, and when they're swinging, they're not hitting them. And this is not just a Ranger problem. This is the way he's pitched all year. Came into the game with about 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Left-hand hitters were hitting 119 against him. It's just a continuation of what he's been doing all season so far.
Ooh. That's an unusual one, and Mazzara does not particularly like the message that came along with that ball. There's certain pitches that come inside that seem to come with just a little bit more.
I don't think he had his heart in that pitch. If you're trying to retaliate with a brush back pitch, throwing it 5 feet behind his legs, not really accomplishing all that much. Let people know. If I'm the hitter, I say thank you very much.
1-0. Mazara's 0 for 2 against him. He wanted to hit that one a mile.
In addition to dominating pitching that the Astros have, they also lead the American League in fielding percentage, which goes a long way toward helping the pitching staff.
One-two to Mazzara. Strike 3 called. Morton has tied his career high with 12 strikeouts tonight through 6 innings. It's 3-1. All right, bottom of the 6th inning now. Brakeman in there to lead things off for the Astros. Three to 1, Houston leads. 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Pfister has really held his own tonight. Gave up a run in the 3rd inning. And then solo homers to Brian McCann on the 4th and Evan Gattis in the 5th. This ball bounced foul. The count is 2-1.
Well, obviously in this series, a couple of Astros have been hit by pitches. Saw George Springer get hit by a pitch last night from Cole Hamels. Carlos Correa got hit by a pitch today from Doug Fisker. And, you know, you heard Emily talk about how Doug Brocail said to be successful against the Astros, we have to throw in. You know, he's not saying we have to throw in and hit guys. We just have to throw in to keep the ball in on their fists. But at the same time, a couple of guys have been hit. And from the Astros' perspective, they felt like, I'm sure with the pitch that Charlie Morton just threw, that they were going to have to throw inside to one of the Ranger hitters, and they picked the Rangers' best hitter, Nomar Mazara. Charlie Morton threw it a foot behind him. So I guess, you know, sometimes it's not just the intent that matters, it's whether it happened at all. And when your 2 best guys get hit by a pitch, then not trying to think along with exactly what's going through the mind of the Astros, but it would appear that they're saying, okay, that's enough. Now it's our turn.
Is it done then? If you feel like, let's just say they feel like you say, that maybe those, you know, they didn't like those guys getting hit, and that you need to throw back. Well, if you throw one like that to Mazara, do you feel like, okay, we've set our piece?
Well, I don't know. You know, one thing that we don't have the slightest idea what's going down in the dugout. We can guess, but from this perspective, in my opinion, yeah, a couple of guys got hit. You took your shot. Now we're even. That's the way I would look at it. But I would also look at it the way the Astros apparently were looking at it, that it's fine if you want to throw in. We have no problem with that. But if you're going to throw in and you hit our guys, then it's not just the fact that you were trying to throw in and not trying to hit anybody. It's the fact it just boils down to you hit 2 of our guys and we feel like we have to do something as well.
One. Just missed the corner. 2-1 to Carlos Correa. Pitch count so far today for Fister has been well in check. In fact, he's gone past 100 pitches in each of his last 3 starts.
As hard as it is to know what's going down in the dugouts from way up here, the last thing you know is exactly who is intentionally trying to hit somebody, because you just don't know what's going through a pitcher's mind. You don't know what's said on the bench. You just don't know exactly what's going on. But based on the view from up here, it would not appear that the Rangers had any intent at all with the 2 pitches they threw. That one hit Springer and one hit Correa. And my guess is if you asked A.J. Hinch if he thought that those pitches were intentional, trying to hit those 2 star players, he would say no. But I think if you also asked him, does it matter? He'd probably say no, it doesn't matter. Trying to pitch in, you hit our guys, then we're going to pitch in and maybe hit one of your guys. That's just kind of the way it is.
3-1. There's a strike. Full count now on Correa. Correa grounded out in that first inning before being hit in the 4th. The ball that hit him in the 4th inning was mid to upper 80s. Runner goes. The 3-2 pitch is outside. The throw down to second is irrelevant.
That's too bad because Robinson made a perfect throw to second base.
Back-to-back walks to start this 6th inning. Those are the first 2 walks for anybody in this one tonight. That brings up Yulieski Gurriel, and here comes Doug Brocail out there to have a quick word with Fister. Well, our bullpen live look brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and you see Tony Barnett getting loose and peeking over his shoulder to see if indeed his opportunity, his time may be coming. It may not be all that far off, but Brocail out there to sort of straighten things out with Fister for the moment and maybe take his temperature. Conversation done. Fister, of course, just a couple years ago was here in Houston. Look at his inning by inning. Really the 3rd inning, the one that jumped up on him. But in 2016 with the Astros, Fister won 12, lost 13, had an ERA above 4.5. Then had a very difficult time getting a job at all last year. He didn't sign until late May. So first pitch to Gurriel is in the dirt. And then once he signed, he would really not be long with the Angels. They sent him to AAA Salt Lake, made 3 starts there, and then as he went through waivers, Boston claimed him on June 26th. Boston moved him to the first base edge of the rubber, and he took off, and really he did a nice job for him. 2-0 the count. In fact, he made a postseason appearance against Houston for the Red Sox. It didn't go well, but there he was in the postseason the following year against a team for whom he had pitched in 2016. Runs that one on the inside corner. It's 2-1. Gurriel has bounced out twice to shortstop. Last time it resulted in a double play. Ground ball shortstop again. Profar to Odor 1 on the first. 2 double play.
Seen that one before. Like in the 4th inning, almost the exact same ball. Got jammed, hit a little dinky ground ball to shortstop. 6-4-3 both times. Got the fastball in, hit the bad part of the bat. Jurickson and Ruge turn it easily.
The 10 ground ball out so far tonight for Pfister. Brian McCann now with a man at third, but 2 out. And he takes in. Well, needs 1 more to get through this 6th inning scoreless. High fly ball out to left. And that'll be handled out there by Gallo. The inning is done. So he does put up a 0 in the 6th inning. We go to the 7th in a 2-run game.
Breakdown. Let's take a look at Charlie Morton and the curveball today. He struck out 12, which ties a career high, and he's had a great curveball. To left-hand hitters, he's dropped it on the outside corner. He's come inside with it. He's kept it down. 7 out of 12 of his strikeouts today have come by way of the curveball. Came into the game throwing the curveball about 26% of the time. Today it's been 38% of the time. So he's featuring it about 10% more of the time in this game. It's been a highly effective pitch for him. Mentioned a little bit earlier in the game that against left-hand hitters, they have a 111 batting average against his curveball, and we've seen that today. I don't believe the Rangers have a hit off his curveball today. Guzman's home run came on a fastball. I think Profar's single and DeShields double did as well.
1-1 on Adrian Beltre. Adrian leading off this 7th inning. Then Joey Gallo, Jurickson, Profar. For 2 so far tonight, and he goes down to a knee to roll this one to short. Correa with that strong arm throws out Beltre, 1 away here in the 7th. All right, our progressive upcoming schedule. We'll wrap up this series tomorrow afternoon, and then it's an off day in Seattle. And then Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon in Seattle. So a quick trip up to the Pacific Northwest before the Rangers head off to Chicago and back home. There's the big shift again for the Houston Astros with Gallo up there, and he takes one on the outside corner for a strike. Gallo has not exactly enjoyed his time against Charlie Morton. Not just tonight, but in his career. 0 for 11 against Morton with 10 strikeouts, and he's in a hole here 0-2.
He just hasn't hung that curveball today at all. The ball that Adrian hit to shortstop is one of the few curveballs that have actually been put in play.
Even if you know it's coming, and you would think that they do, it's hard. That one just off the outside corner. I think if you enjoy it, you're anticipating a curveball, right?
Yeah, until you really can't look for, I don't think, look for a curveball with 2 strikes. You might be able to do it with Morton today. He's throwing 40% of them. For the most part, you have to gear up to hit his fastball too, because it's throwing 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's a bedeviling situation right now for these Rangers hitters.
Yeah, it's why he's having such a nice season. 10+ strikeouts per 9 innings, a 178 opponent's batting average, a 216 earned run average.
Well, his 1-2 backs up Gallo. They're hoping to find one he can drive. And he swings and misses here. That's strike 3. 2 gone in the 7th inning. And that is a new career high in strikeouts for Morton.
And it's another curveball.
Rangers have had 3 hits tonight. Morton has piled up 13 strikeouts. Profar has battled him nicely, though. Profar bounced out to first, has also singled to center. And he takes a fastball just a little bit in. And as great as Morton has been, he's closing in on 100 pitches now. So if you want to look for the silver lining, that is that Morton, more than likely, is going to be out of this ball game in the not too distant future. Profar over first base, down that right field line, but foul. A nice play down there by a youngster. Well, I guess his dad.
Perfect one to make a play on. Hit him right off the hand, so it was kind of a soft line drive. That's one Dad will remember, and so will his little boy. Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
Oh, we had a great one here last night. Rangers won it 1-0 on a sac fly by Profar. That beat Justin Verlander. Today Morton has had command of this one. This one down the third baseline. That's a fair ball. Profar will try for 2. Here comes a throw from Gonzales. And somehow Profar gets in there. Wow.
There's been 2 doubles to hit today down the left field line. One by Delino and one by Jurickson. And on both plays, Marlon Gonzales charged the ball like an infielder, which he is, and made off-balance accurate throws to second base. This one he really had to go a long way for. It kicks back out to him. And watch this throw, kind of like Adrian making a play on a bunt. And Altuve's tag was just a little bit late on both Delino and Jurickson. And we're talking about Jurickson's all the good at-bats that he's had, and he'd like to see some results. He would like to see some results. Well, here's some results. A single and a double today in a game where the Rangers only have 4 hits against a guy who's throwing a superb ball game.
Well, it gets the potential tying run to the plate. That's a very big hit. Dort takes in ball 1. See the activity out in the bullpen. 100 pitches coming now on this next offering. Harris, Joe Smith getting loose out there. Odor struck out twice. That one bounces away. Profar, boy, almost ran into a bit of a trap. Martin, good day at work at the office for him, but you can tell maybe huffing and puffing a little bit here at the finish line, trying to get himself through 7 innings. Chance, perhaps just a chance he makes one mistake in this one tonight. Hasn't made really any yet. And no doubt that Odor can punish him if he does. Now Morton wanted a break a moment ago when Odor was ready, and you see that really Rangers haven't made him work all that hard in any inning. It's the 16 pitches in the third. That's the high water mark.
And that's with all these strikeouts too.
Now the 2-0 and a bouncer, first base side foul. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but you do get a small sense that there's a little more confidence right now. Rangers hitters maybe feeling like they're getting some idea of how to handle Charlie Morton. Profar is out there for Odor if he can find a way. Outfield deep. Another foul ball. It's 2-2.
I think all the hitters have seen enough curveballs to where if he does hang one, he should be in a pretty good position to hit one. Those last 2 curveballs were close to being hangers. Maybe he had good swings at him. Just a little bit out in front of him, a little bit on top of him.
Little extra time between each pitch right now for Morton. Just short of his season high in pitches thrown. 106, the most this year. This will be 103 tonight. And even as everybody's ready, you can see either disagreement with McCann on occasion or just a moment to take an extra breath. 2-2. Inside, and it's a full count. Now, if he loses Odor, you wonder, would they make a move?
I think they would. I hope he loses him. I hope Rugi loses one. Then I know
even better.
Then I know they'll bring in a new pitcher.
Now there's your breakdown, Tom. I'll tell you what, that is a lot of curveballs.
Well, it was 38 to 40% when we talked about it 15 pitches ago, and almost every pitch then since then has been a curveball.
Three-two pitch. And Odor's going to make him work harder.
Well, he's not risking a fastball, that's for sure. The last 4 or 5 pitches have all been curveballs. So if you want to keep throwing a curveball, that's been your best pitch today. At the same time, if you hang one, Rugi's seen 4 or 5 of them in a row, so he's got it timed pretty well. Just a matter of where the location of it is and how much it's curving. If it doesn't curve very much and it's above the knees, watch out.
Oh, swing and a miss. 14 strikeouts from Morton. It came on his 20th pitch of the inning. Likely done. Rangers leave a man and they're down by 2. we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And little idea for you. Host your next group or company outing at a Rangers game. Groups of 20 or more enjoy significant savings off gate prices. You can add on picnic areas, meal deals, and other experiences to make your group outing even more memorable. Just go to texasrangers.com/groups to plan your group outing today. Doug Fister comes out for the 7th inning. 3-1 our score. And he gets Marlon Gonzales to start things off. It'll be Gonzales, Josh Reddick, Evan Gattis.
I've been talking in superlatives for Charlie Morton, and he deserves it. 14 strikeouts, no walks. But at the same time, it's been a nice, solid outing for Doug Fister as well. Only giving up 3 runs, giving up a couple of home runs. For the most part, he's pitching solid ball game.
Yeah, really a great effort today and bouncing back beautifully from his last outing. His last outing was a tough one against another of his former teams. Went 6 1/3 against the Red Sox. Gave up 6 runs in that one. This one popped foul and ends up among the fans. Fister just at 90 pitches. So keeping his team in it. Taking some pressure off the bullpen as well. Pitching into the 7th inning. Two-two. And a little nubber down that third base side. Beltre takes care of Gonzales. 1 away in the 7th. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back again to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. Well, we're in the 7th inning here, the only game we'll see today, and a big breaking ball fouled away by Reddick. Reddick had a double in the 3rd inning, rather. So flied out. One and one. Fister still working with the tempo of a guy just starting the game. It's how he always works. He likes to get it and go. Barnett's been ready out in that pin. There we go, the 2-1. A walk to Reddick, and that might well do it. Yeah, here comes Jeff Bannister. Well, Banny coming out. That will spell the end of the evening for Doug Fister. Well, the look on Fister's face says, well, I don't think I'm ready yet. Of course, he's been able to get a couple of big ground balls and double plays when he is needed, but he's not going to get another chance here tonight. So Tony Barnett coming on for the Rangers.
There's been some home runs, though. Ronald Guzman got the home runs off in the 3rd inning, put the Rangers up 1-0. But Brian McCann answered in the 4th, and the 3rd home run of the day came in the 5th. Evan Gattis right down the left field line. Astros lead 3-1. 3 of the runs came on the home runs. You take a look at the starting pitchers today. Both of them have pitched very, very well. Doug Fister got into the 7th inning, only gave up 4 hits. He's given up 3 runs, couple of home runs. Charlie Morton, superb, 7 innings. The only run came on Ronald Guzman's home run. No walks and 14 strikeouts. Career high for Charlie Morton. And for Tony Barnett, his pitch arsenal: fastball, curveball, cutter, and a slider. Mixes his pitches up. Fastball sinks. 2-seam fastball gets up to 93 miles an hour. He inherits a man on first and 1 out. Bottom of the order.
34-year-old right-hander, and his first pitch popped up. Shallow right field. Odor will put it away. 1 away. All right, time now for the Lowe's whole team together. Now, we talked about this earlier today in the open. Rangers bullpen has been so good on the road, and even better against this Houston Astros team. Barnett, one of 4 Rangers relievers with that perfect ERA against Houston. You see Kella out there, who shut it down yesterday for the save. He's been outstanding. Rangers need more of that here tonight. Barnett, fastball moving at 93 miles per hour. Fisher struck out in the 3rd, rolled out in the 5th. Took in on Reddick. Astros have been pretty aggressive on the base paths in this series, so not a bad idea at all. Barnett's 1-0, and there's a ground ball first base. Guzman will go to second. He's got all kinds of outs there. Not real sure why. He only needed 1.
Fans are happy that he's safe.
That doesn't really matter. I don't know where Guzman was going.
He obviously didn't know how many outs there were.
Sadly, we can't carry the outs over to the next inning. GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Downtown Houston, we are inside tonight. They closed the roof before the ball game today, 3-1. Houston leading. Middle game of this 3-game series. Rangers with 2 at-bats left. And the good news, they get to see a new pitcher. Will Harris, first man up out of the bullpen tonight for Houston.
Yeah, Will Harris is a solid setup guy for the Astros. Those are his numbers on the season. His ERA is .415. But back on May 3rd against the Yankees, he gave up 3 earned runs, didn't record an out. And as we were talking about the other day, when you're a relief pitcher, especially early in the season, when you only have 10 to 15 innings pitched, one outing like that completely skewers your earned run average and can make it look like the overall season hasn't been very good, when in fact it's only one of your 15 or 16 appearances that went south on you.
Well, Chirinos was trying to bunt the first offering, lays off this one, 1-1 the count. Bobby 0 for 2 today. Well, they ran into a tough one today. Charlie Morton, who's been tough on a lot of people, was really, really good. And this one bounced in the hole, shortstop. Correa with a backhand, and a nice dig by Gurriel. Retires Chirinos 1 away. You know, Coca-Cola Family Pack offers savings of over 50% on tickets, food, kids zone access, souvenir programs, and you got it, Coke soft drinks. Family Pack is a great way to catch the Rangers when they face the Royals Sunday, May 27th. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to get your Coca-Cola Family Pack today. With 1 out, here is Ronald Guzman. He has delivered the only Rangers run so far, the home run back in the 3rd inning. Guzman with 3 homers this year. 2 of them have been in this ballpark. Two.
We're talk about the 2 home runs that Ronald has hit here. In the last series, it was a low slider right down the right field line. Away from Charlie Morton, it was a fastball. And he put a charge in this one. That's about as hard as he's hit a ball since he's been a Ranger.
Bites that one off. The count stays 0-2. Well, let's see that first home run you just showed there. That was one that tied the game. That was on a Saturday night here. Then he ended up winning that game in extra innings. So he homered earlier in this one. Saturday night. Maybe he ends up winning this one in the 10th inning. Checks his swing up. Did not go. 1-2. Could be quite a little pattern if it actually holds. Big guy, Guzman, 6'5", about 250 pounds. He's shown us really good defensive work at first base. The guy's still very much developing offensively, 23 years old, and here way ahead of the anticipated schedule due to all the injuries that the Rangers have had to endure this first quarter of the season. This is the 41st game of the year. Harris out of the bullpen for Houston. Got Chirinos, a 2-2 and a swing and a miss. So Guzman strikes out. 2 away. All right, tomorrow we'll wrap this thing up. Our Ford Probables. Matt Moore ready to go for the Rangers. A 3-1 record in 4 starts against Houston. Really good numbers. Keuchel, we have seen him for many years now. 8-9, 23 starts against the Rangers. Beginning of his career, not quite like he's throwing now. He's turned into one of the great pitchers in the American League. 2 away here for Harris.
I think it shows the quality of the Astros rotation. When you're talking about Morton, Verlander, and Cole, you don't even mention Keuchel with those 3 guys.
Well, a little bounce out to the right side ends it for the Rangers in the 8th. Time running short tonight. Top of the order coming. Jose Altuve strides in, and Tony Barnett a chance to do a little more work here in the bottom of the 8th. So Barnett got the final 2 outs in the 7th. This is the first game this year that the Astros have had somebody other than George Springer in that leadoff spot. Altuve hitless so far tonight. He swings and misses at strike 1.
Yeah, so far 3 at-bats. This has been a very bad night for Altuve based on who he is and what he does. He struck out a couple of times. He took one right down the middle. He swung at a curveball a foot outside. Got jammed and hit a ground ball to third base. Not quite in sync in this ball game.
Now, in fact, he's 0 for 7 now in this series. The Rangers have had a decent plan against him, or maybe they're just catching him at the right time. One. Of course, all of this assumes that folks know who Altuve is and what it means to collar him in 7 at-bats. Not done all that often. This guy's won 3 of the last 4 batting titles in the American League.
MVP last year, and he's leading the major leagues in hits this season.
Yeah, and he like a lot of Astros players, they feel like they really haven't hit stride yet, and I think the numbers would probably bear that out. But this team will score more runs, hit for a higher average, etc. over the course of the season they have to this point. A couple of guys who have yet to really get going. Their pitching has been ridiculous. Their starting pitching has just been phenomenal. 24 wins, 16 losses overall. Tied for first in the division with the Angels. And the swing and a fly ball center field, but that one's going to hang up a little bit for the Shields. one away here in the 8th inning. We're coming out to the ballpark for Star Wars weekend. The first 15,000 fans on Saturday, May 26th, are going to get a Star Wars Han Gallo bobblehead, courtesy of Medical City Healthcare. Rangers and Royals, 3:05 game. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Brakeman 0 for 2 with a walk. Another guy I think they would figure to put up better numbers by the time the season is done. 3 home runs so far this year, 16 RBIs. That was interesting. Good pitch right in there for a strike, but somehow Trinos didn't catch it. Don't see that very often. Field back deep. 2-1 the count. Well, if Barnett can finish off this 8th inning, that'd be a nice little lift for the bullpen. Take some pressure off there. Of course, keep it a 2-run game. The Rangers do have the heart of the order coming in the 9th inning, so maybe a shot to pull off something big here tonight in Houston. 2-2 now the count on Brakeman.
Brakeman thought that pitch was low, right at the bottom of the strike zone. Brakeman leads the Astros in walks. He's walked 25 times so far this year.
2-2 pitch. Close. You mentioned it earlier. Brakeman, the 2nd pick overall in the draft out of LSU. He's 24 years old. Hits this ball well into left field. That's a base hit. Hilker's to second. Brakeman's first hit of the night, first hit of the series, and he is in scoring position.
He works the count and then gets one he likes. Fastball, center of the plate. Brakeman's a good line drive hitter. Last year he hit 19 home runs, 39 doubles. Got off to a slow start last year, but ended up hot.
So Barnett has to deal with a base runner here. He dealt with a base runner last inning when he came in for Doug Fister, and he'll turn him. Challenge Brakeman. Just short of 36,500 fans here tonight. And they did not like that move. It's rude. Fly ball, center field, well struck, but it's big out there. The Shields is back, and that is gone. Correa has big power, his 7th home run of the year. And boy, is that one a big one. Makes it 5-1 Houston.
And that shows you the kind of power that Correa does have. Pitch on the outside part of the plate, belt high. And he drives that to right center field. Deepest part of the ballpark, well over 400 feet. He missed 53 games last year. Not quite a third of the season, and hit 24 home runs.
Now, we mentioned this earlier that he's hit a lot of home runs. Only shortstop in big league history with 20+ homers in each of his first 3 seasons. Just hit his 400th game yesterday, and you can see 400 games in. That's pretty good company In terms of home runs hit, you know, when a guy that young, you want to say, oh, budding superstar, etc. There's no budding. I mean, he's a superstar player. Big swing and a miss by Gurriel makes it 1-2.
The Astros have played 40 games, 41 now with this one. Haven't made an error yet.
A home run 439 feet by Correa. You talk about a tough night at the plate, though. Yulieski Gurriel, 2 double play grounders. The other ground ball that he hit to short was to open the inning. Yesterday saw his 11-game hitting streak ended in an 0 for 4. So a little bit like Altuve, he's fallen on some hard times in this series. Altuve crying in the dugout. Oh, no, he's not. Looked like it, though. Would have been pretty crazy. He's just fine.
They got me today, but I'll be back.
Yeah, something tells me.
Hope it's the day after tomorrow.
Full count now on Gurriel.
Gurriel's first full season with the Astros was last year, but not a traditional rookie. He played in Cuba for a long time. He's 34 years old.
Swings at this one and rolls it down the third baseline, and that one just past Beltran into left field. So Gurriel with a double. It's been a tough go for Tony Barnett in this 8th inning.
Well, somehow Gurriel kept that ball fair. The pitch was in. Looked like he was going to hook it foul, but he really pulled his hands in and kept the angle of the bat such that the ball stayed fair. A very hard hit double, but well placed double.
All right, so Tony is done, and he's responsible for Gurriel out at second base. 5-1 Houston. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. A beautiful night out there tonight. Not going as well indoors here. 5-1. Houston with the lead, and they're still batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Yohander Mendez coming on here in the 8th for the Rangers.
Yohander, one of the better minor league pitching prospects at the upper level of the organization. A lot of them down below. Get to see those sometime in the next few years. Right now Yohander trying to establish himself as a solid major leaguer. Been in 9 games with the Rangers over a period of time. Not a lot of innings, not a lot of opportunities yet. Face Brian McCann, who's swinging the bat pretty well this year against left-handed pitching.
Bouncer by the mound, and Profar smothers it. His throw not in time, actually gets away. Gurriel scores. That one's just far enough off the mark that Guzman, even with his great reach, couldn't quite reel it in.
The ball wasn't hit very hard, but it split the infielders. So Jurickson had a long way to go. He dives to get to it. Got up, had time, but he pulled the throw wildly to Guzman's right. Probably goes an infield hit and an error, I would guess.
Yep.
No RBI.
No RBI. Yep. So now Marlon Gonzales. Gonzales 0 for 3. Three runs in this inning. Houston leads 6-1. Mendez just a little bit wide, 2-0. Just one out. That one a little bit low. 3-0 now to Marlon Gonzales. So Mendez's first action here of 2018 with the Rangers. And Emily, you got a little more on him?
Yeah, he said he really wanted to work on that fastball command. He felt like he was too quick to the plate before, and now wanted to really focus on a slower delivery, and he feels like it's been more effective for him.
3-0. There's a strike. Come on, Marlon.
Looked like a strike to me.
It's a full count. So Mendez battles his way back here. No wonder a big guy. It just goes with a number of the young players in the system for the Rangers, whether it's, Nomar Mazara, Guzman over at first, Yoander Mendez, 6'5", all over 200 pounds out of Venezuela. Another 23-year-old. Three-two pitch. A high pop-up. Foul ground. Condor is there. 2 away.
Gonzales had a great deal of confidence that Ronald Guzman was going to catch that ball. He was almost back to the dugout by the time he caught it. The ball wasn't that far from being fair.
You're right. I mean,
he put his head down and walked into the dugout the minute he made contact.
Now Josh Reddick. Yeah, if that had landed fair, you and I might have had enough time to get down the elevator, make our way through the tunnel, and get down there and make the out. He had conceded that at bat.
So I think once you get in the dugout, you've conceded the at bat. So you can't like go into the dugout and then come sprinting out of the dugout to first base.
That'll work. 1-1 the count on Reddick. Fouled away. 1-2 the count. Now when Reddick makes his way to the plate or does just about anything, you hear a lot of the Astros fans with that woo that they yell out at him. You hear that in a lot of different sports arenas now. A lot of places they do it just to.
That's for Ric Flair, right?
That's the Ric Flair thing, exactly. And for Reddick, it's legit. I mean, he's a huge wrestling fan and a fan of Ric Flair.
I don't know if you ever got a chance to watch the documentary on Ric Flair.
No.
I'm not sure what network it was on. That was tremendous. I'm not an avid follower of professional wrestling. I know a little bit about it. Watch it sometimes. But that documentary on Ric Flair was fascinating.
A high fly ball out into short right field. Odor way out there. He wants it. And that will do it here in the bottom of the 8th inning. But a big 3-run bottom of the 8th it was. Rangers will turn to Shin-Soo Choo, Nomar Mazara, and Adrian Beltre in the 9th. Inning. They're hoping maybe a 3-1 score, a bloop and a blast kind of situation could at least force the bottom of the 9th. But now they're going to have to sustain some kind of rally against this guy, Colin Mchugh.
Yeah, we talked about Colin Mchugh in last night's game. He pitched last night. This will be back-to-back days for Mchugh. He won 18 or 19 games for the Astros a few years ago as a starting pitcher, transitioning into the bullpen this year because of the depth that they have and the quality of the 5 guys that are in the rotation right now. But he's putting up nice reliever numbers. 0.66 ERA, 180 opponent's batting average. He's only given up 1 run in 13 2/3. That came on a home run. And he's had 19 strikeouts in 13 2/3.
Well, he'll start with Shin-Soo Choo. The Rangers do have a great spot in the order coming here. Need to start accumulating some base runners. Choo's had a tough night tonight. Certainly pleased to face somebody other than Charlie Morton. Morton was tough on him with the 3 strikeouts. Morton was tough on everybody with a career high 14 strikeouts. Will Harris with 1, 2, 3, 8th inning, and now Mchugh. 1-2.
Pretty nice slider, cutter maybe. From Mchugh right there, right in on the fist. Mchugh's got good stuff. Sneaky fastball, good curveball, good assortment of secondary pitches.
Bouncer right side of the infield. Altuve takes care of Choo, 1 away. Brings up Nomar Mazara. Nomar 0 for 3 so far tonight. To me, Tom, this is where the game, we've talked a lot about the evolution of baseball and the way teams manage and attack opposing pitchers, that sort of thing. A home run has become king. But when you're down by 5 in the 9th inning, and I get what Mazara's strengths are, and he's a little bit unusual, right, in that he's not an all or nothing home run slugger. He does use the field well. But this is where that ability to put balls in play, work counts, get on base, just base hits, singles, those types of things becomes such a critical part of the game that by and large, baseball's sort of moved so far away from that. It's tough to suddenly corral it on a given night in the 9th inning.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to change the approach that Nomar has. He does use the whole field. He's developing power at a pace which has him among leaders right now in home runs. He hit 20 his first 2 years. This year he's well on his way to hitting more than that. So he's just an all-around good hitter who will also hit for power. And he does use the whole field. They shade him in the infield, but they don't really put that huge shift on. I guess it's a huge shift compared to what we used to see. But compared to the shift for Joey, where they put everybody on the right side, at least they've got a shortstop. And the outfield is shaded around the other way, especially in center field. But yeah, when you're down by 5 in the 9th inning, you're not really looking for the long ball until you get closer and have men on base. In the meantime, getting on base anyway is the end of the game.
Altuve handles another ground ball, 2 away. At the same time, hitting coaches, managers, hitters will tell you, if you look at the stuff coming out of bullpens now, the 98 plus, the 100 plus, the sliders, the different looks teams are able to provide, and just the general depth that they have out there, the notion that you're going to get a 5-6 hit rally in any inning against any pitcher in today's game is almost a fanciful one, right? I mean, it's harder and harder.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's hard to overcome a 5-run deficit, but it does happen. And I think the better your hitters are, the more they use the whole field, the more they make contact, the better chance you've got to put that kind of a rally together for sure. Yeah, the days where you said, let's get the starter out of there quick and get to the bullpen. Sometimes it's true depending on the team and the bullpen. But for the most part, the quality of the individuals out in the bullpen, when you bring in 2 or 3 of them over a 3 or 4 inning period of time, it doesn't make it that much easier. In fact, sometimes it's harder to hit them than it was the starter. You say to yourself, I hope the starter gets bombed, but not too bad. We want to keep him in there as long as we can. Don't want to get to the bullpen.
You think of the 2015 Kansas City Royals. And that bullpen, forget about it. 2-1. Beltre takes in 3 balls and a strike. We were never overwhelmed by that starting pitching staff of Kansas City in 2015, but you knew if they got to 5 innings and you were behind, you might as well just pack them up and leave.
Yep, that's probably the key reason why they went to the postseason and won a World Series.
Well, Rangers down to their final strike here tonight. They won the opener yesterday, 1-0. But Houston has come back today, tacked on some late runs to stretch this thing out a little bit, and trying to even the series and set up a rubber match tomorrow. Mchugh's payoff, and a breaking ball, strike 3 call. Beltre knew it, and this one is over 6-1. Houston takes game 2. And it's just not a lot that this Rangers offense could get started today. Great performance. And the starting role from Charlie Morton, and the bullpen was stopped. Saw the series even, and we'll look forward to tomorrow. Now stay with us. Dana Larson, Mike Bassick, and Mark McLemore back in the studios as we speak, getting ready to break this one down for you. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm